The number 3 Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the number 6 Buffalo Bills. The Jags won 13 games this year after being embarrassed in London. They didn't just get humbled. They actually, because you always hear that. We lost, so we're going to say we got humbled. No. Getting humbled, you have to learn something in that. And the Jaguars did. Rookie head coach Liam Cohen took it on the chin and said, we need to be better. We need to, fix things. And they've done just that. They've won 8 straight. They're outstanding. But can they hold off the Bills, who are surprisingly, but not surprisingly, favorites because they have Josh Allen at quarterback? I think it's going to be a really interesting game, Cam. Again, 8 straight wins. The Bills, by the way, 0-8 since before I was born in road playoff games. Liam Cohen and the Jags, like I said, humbled by the Rams in London. And the Bills don't have the offensive firepower, in my opinion, to go toe-to-toe with Cohen's offense and a rebirth Trevor Lawrence. I'm the biggest Trevor Lawrence critic of all time. Okay, I always thought that they anointed this kid way too early, and I never viewed him as like this crazy franchise quarterback. He's starting to look really good. And it's starting, he's coming back. I would give him comeback player of the year. People would disagree with me. Look at the shoulder surgery he had to have that ended his season last year, and look at what he is now. Definitely would give it to him.
He stopped running. He stopped running so much, Jake. Once he stopped running, I think we talked about it in the show, but I think you were like the staff told him to stop running as much, so he changed his mechanics. He started throwing more, and like you mentioned, bro, he's been looking tough.
Remember they told Josh Allen to do that, and then he was like, yeah, about that.
Right.
They both don't run as much, but you know what they do when they get into the red area? They already have it in their mind. I'm not throwing this ball away because I can outrun that linebacker. I can outrun that defensive lineman. I'm going to score a touchdown if they pressure me. That, I think, is really the interesting thing here about both of them. But I think this is going to sting for the Bills, man, because they're going to watch, like I mentioned, aforementioned, Jacoby Myers. He's going to be a huge X factor in this game. All the Bills fans know they should have traded for him. Not like they had any control of that. But, Cam, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I'm going to go with Duval to win 31-27. I trust Anthony Campanile and that defense to force a turnover or two on Josh Allen. As I already mentioned, Josh Hines Allen's going to have a big game. You mentioned Alua Khan, who's a great linebacker in his own right. How about the guy next to him, Devin Lloyd? I think Duval moves on, and they are as dangerous as anybody in the AFC.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game, Jake, 34-31, is because they forced turnovers on Josh Allen. He's capable of doing it, right? He'll throw the ball away 2 to 3 times and come away with the loss. He's done it before this year, but we just talked about some of those playmakers on defense: Lloyd, Louis Khan, Josh Hines. I mean, they're not even playing with Travis Hunter, and they're still doing their thing. So shout out to Liam Cohen and that young GM who they brought in. He's like, I think 31 years old. Other people are looking at him a little crazy, but they figured out a way to turn this organization around. So you think about the Jacksonville Jaguars, they really haven't had a winning season. So for them to get that done this year has been really, really impressive. So I think they win this game. I think the Buffalo Bills, I think it's a similar situation to the Ravens, Jake. The Ravens have not won in the playoffs like that. Same thing with the Bills. So I have a feeling with Sean McDermott, he might end up like your Harbaugh brother, where he's taking another position somewhere if he doesn't win with Josh Allen, because there's no excuse. You got James Cook, he's a top runner in the NFL, and you got Josh Allen, former MVP. There's no way that you should not be winning football games. So I think if they lose the Jacksonville Jaguars, who came from last to pretty much first, them and the Texans, what they've done with the organizations, I think it's wraps to the Buffalo Bills, and I think they'll have to change things up a little bit. So I got the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this one, Jake. All my ETN, I mentioned Trevor Lawrence, we mentioned Olakun, we mentioned a lot of those players who I think are going to show up this week.
Yeah, and by the way, that GM you're talking about came from the Rams, James Gladstone.
Yeah.
If John Schneider didn't have the season he had, I would probably give James Gladstone GM of the year. I went with John Schneider in one of the voting polls that I was a part of, but that was not easy. I think James Gladstone has that. Jacksonville won 13 games in his first year, and they literally flipped their record from 4-13 last year. Yeah, Jacksonville is in really good shape.